Awesome. All right. Here we are, the big review. I'm going to start off by saying, I'm going to start off by welcoming everybody to the show. I'm going to welcome the boys. Thanks for coming back, Jordan, Perry, Ahmed. Appreciate you guys coming out. For anybody watching live, for anybody new, like and subscribe. Still trying to grow the channel. We're putting out content weekly, twice, 3 times, whatever it might be. All right, so initial thoughts. My initial thoughts, and then we'll go around the table. My initial thoughts, I'm not disappointed. I did say at the start in the preview, I predicted a draw. I did predict a 2-2 draw. That would have, if everybody took their chances today, a 2-2 draw would have been exactly what we would have seen on both sides. And the reason why I'm not disappointed and why I expected a draw is because historically that's kind of how this fixture has gone. There's too much at stake for Liverpool to lose the game, and there is a lack of clinical edge on our part, which is why we didn't win the game. I'm not going to say we were the better side because I think it was pretty even. I think a draw is actually a fair result. And all things considering, I think I do think in the context of the game, based on when people were saying, they had 2 center backs and XYZ, at the end of the day, I'll give credit where credit's due. Fabinho played a fantastic game, in my opinion. I think he did very well. And Alisson, I called him as my danger man from the start. He did exactly what I expected. He played as a world-class keeper. But I'm going to actually start with Jordan because I know you have a bit of a contrasting opinion. So I want to hear what you have to say on, just your initial thoughts of the result.
I'm disappointed that we didn't get the win. I think if you'd offered me a point at the start of the game, I'd have took it. But I think that the fact that we missed 2 really huge chances in the second half, I'm disappointed we didn't get the 3 points.
Ahmed?
Much like you, Cam, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. This was the result I expected. It was the way I expected the game to go because we spoke about this. Whoever watched the review will know what I said. I said it quite abundantly. We would have expected wing-back play. We would have expected Thiago to dominate the game. We would have expected Liverpool to really harry United. That's exactly what happened. And we would have had to ride out that storm in order to be able to get any opportunities in that match. But what frustrated me was that for more or less the first half of the match, we didn't get enough opportunities in their penalty area or get any shots off. The best opportunity we had came from a free kick, which, credit to Bruno, it's a good free kick. I've wished it went in. But in the general scheme of things, we did not do enough to really impose ourselves in the first half. And for me, that's where I feel we should have done better. If we have more of against these sides, the top 6 sides, I don't consider Arsenal the top 6 sides. I don't know why they're bantering us off today. But if against the sides around us, we should really try and kill the game as soon as we can, or get a good start in, get in their box, harry them a lot more, give them something to worry about. Because the Liverpool today didn't look a shade of the side that they were last season, who dominated that first half and took the lead in from a corner, but still gave United a very hard time. Different team, of course. Today, though, we were defensively solid. While our attack was very disappointing, in the sense that they had chances in the second half, which they should have taken. Today, it was very, pleasing for me to see that our back 5, that does include Cam's favourite player, played very well today. And they all deserve, yes, Big Dave, Luke, Aaron, Victor, and Harry all played very well today. There were moments they did, as defenders do, they didn't make the right decisions in some moments, but in the general scheme of the game, they did their job. They kept a clean sheet. They performed very well. Obviously, it needed a reward for their efforts. Didn't come. But that, for me now, I have shifted my focus onto the next one because today has come and gone. A missed opportunity for some people. For me, it's not, because it means we're still in the lead. We still have something to hang on to. But in the short term, we're just a point closer to the Champions League, so I'm good.
Perry, what are your opinions and thoughts? Point gained or 2 points dropped?
Point gained. I don't think you can go to Anfield and drop 2 points. I'm not ecstatic, but I'm happy with the result. I really am. I don't think we missed 2 big chances. I think they've got a world-class keeper, and I think against any other team, they probably go in. Yeah, like I can't really complain. Like I really can't. Like this Liverpool team is good, and it's not even like they. I know they're playing Fabinho and Henderson out of position, but they're still starters in that team. It's not like they're bringing in 2. If it was us, we'd probably be bringing in someone from the youth or who hasn't been playing for a couple of months. But I'm happy. We've gone to Anfield. We've got a point. They haven't lost there since 17. Like I get that they were there for the taking, but I don't know what you guys think. But I think in any circumstances, a point at Anfield is not a bad result.
So I've been big picture all season, and now I will continue to say what I've been saying. I think I said if we got a result at Liverpool, we could go on and definitely win the league, and I'm going to stick with that now that we've got that point. We do need to get better results against the top 6 sides moving forward. That's like if we could just turn on what we had last year, where we basically every time we played a top 6 team, we got a result. That'll be the big difference in if we actually win the title or are, as Ahmed's happy to say, Champions League side, which is completely fine for what we saw today. I want to talk a little bit about Liverpool being not the same team, but some of the issues are issues that we could have seen coming. Realistically, they wanted Timo Werner in the summer for a reason. Jota was bought for a reason, and I think 2 of those misses that we saw from Firmino, I wouldn't say they're uncharacteristic though. That's the thing. So it's like when people are saying if Firmino was more clinical, if he had put those passes, he does that a lot. He misses those chances a lot. So it's what the focus for me is. What I'm trying to figure out with Liverpool is, are they truly going to just turn it around if they sign somebody to fit into that front 3? Do they need to recycle their front 3, or are we seeing the end of their little era?
Genuinely, I feel like today exposed them for how much they missed Diogo Jota, for the fact that he came in to a Liverpool side that had already been thriving with goals and were very clinical on a regular basis, to find that today he wasn't there for them and considerably diminished their goal return because he scored so many for them in that little period, which in the early half of the season. You're now looking at a Liverpool side that are just devoid of confidence up front. And again, I know we're a United channel, but looking at how they played today, they did have frailties in the attack, which probably played into our hands a lot, as they had chances of plenty. On a normal day, or the Salahs or the Manes of last season would have converted on first sight. But today, it showed how determined we were to not allow them to have the freedom in the penalty area, to allow them to have those, little half-yard efforts that they could bend on target or find the top corner from the edge of the area. I think the only occasion was when Thiago shot from outside the box and De Gea got both hands.
So Ahmed, I want to stop you there, because I asked that question specifically because I wanted somebody to pull on what I believe was the biggest positive is our defense.
Yes.
Last year, we would have probably allowed more of those goals. Harry Maguire wouldn't have got that block, and Lindelof would have, I don't know, probably. Lindelof had one moment that scared me where he did the weird little kick thing when he lost the ball, and it was a really good through ball behind him from Thiago. Thiago ran the game, by the way, in my opinion, for Liverpool. I think our defense is starting to look like the defense that was the 3rd best defense in Europe last year. And everybody forgot that at the start of the season, that we were actually the 3rd best defense across all Europe. Jordan, how did you feel? How did you feel about the defense? How did you feel about some of the spurned chances as well? Like, let's talk about Rashford. Let's talk about Pogba, because there was a few spurned, not just the obvious ones.
I think we defended well. To be fair, the chance for Bruno, I think he kind of done all he could do. He got a connection on the ball towards the goal. That was good goalkeeping. I think for Pogba's one, I don't think it was that good goalkeeping. I think Pogba literally hurt it right down his throat. I think if Pogba had hit that anywhere else in the goal, that would have went in. I don't think you can say really that's because they've got a good goalkeeper that one didn't go in. I think that more comes down to the fact that Pogba hit it straight at him. I think defensively though we were good. Look, when I saw Lindelof was starting, I was thinking, I thought, here we go again. It's going to be a disaster. because Eric Bailly, I don't think he deserved to get dropped, but actually I thought Lindelof was good. Luke Shaw was my man of the match for the game. I thought he was the best player on the park for both teams. Thiago was good, but I think Thiago was really good for the first 20 minutes and then kind of disappeared. And then he kind of popped back in every now and again in the second half, but he definitely wasn't up to the standard that he set in the first 20 minutes for the whole game. I don't think he ran the game for anything longer than that first 20-minute period.
See, I thought Thiago was I thought he was great throughout most of the game. Later in the second half, when we were just the better side, I think we started to see him make some mistakes, and he should have been carded.
I don't know how he stayed out the book. I think he was actually he committed 2, 3, maybe even 4 really cynical yellow card fouls and didn't get booked for one of them. Then Rashford done one on Curtis Jones, is that his name? I don't know. Jones. He committed one on Jones and got booked straight away. That to me was strange refereeing. I thought the referee was just strange the whole game. The one right on half time, I think we kind of got away with one there. I don't know why. I mean, you could say, well, Lindelof would have easily header back to the goalkeeper, but still blew the whistle 5 seconds early. I don't understand it. I thought the referee had a bit of a howler the night. I don't think he was. I thought it was straight. It was strange. A lot of the decisions he was making were questionable. I thought
the occasion was big, and Jurgen Klopp did put a lot of pressure on whoever was going to be the referee for this game. He's been putting pressure on this game for weeks, and he did that on purpose. And that could have some reason why Thiago didn't get booked, because I was sitting there being like, how has this guy avoided the book? Like, he should have been probably hauled off. Like, if I was Jurgen, at one point, if he'd had a yellow, he would have had to come off because he was flying in, desperate tackling. The Pogba one. So I watched the Pogba one back because I can rewind on the platform that I watched. It was fast. It was very, that's the thing is, if Pogba had hit that and not got it on target, that's where we would have lost our mind. Pogba's whole mindset was like, I just need to get this on target. It would have been nice if he had composed himself for that split second, but I'm thinking the reason I'm giving him a bit of a pass is because it was late in the game. He's probably tired. He's just all he's thinking is, I just gotta kick this at Alisson. And Alisson, the save on Bruno for me was that was a ridiculous save, because that's reaction. There is nothing Bruno could have done. There's nothing everybody in that situation did exactly everything they could. Alisson was just get a foot on it. The rude chance, the chance that I think we really would have been an actual scoring chance is when the 2-on-1, Rashford opts to go out wide expecting Fabinho to open up space and go with Cavani, but he didn't. He came with him. Rashford should have seen the run. I mean, anybody who was watching it saw that Cavani was already peeling off left. Rashford just had to roll the ball left. Fabinho had committed to staying with Rashford. That was it. That was his choice. He made a choice. Rashford made the wrong choice, obviously, and ran into the corner. I don't know if anybody saw anything different, but for me, that was actually because if that ball got to Cavani, that's Cavani versus Alisson, and we know that's a goal every time. I don't know. I mean, how did you, when you were watching that? I don't know. I've had some people say Fabinho, that was great defending.
Yeah, it was. I think that showed his experience, because it's a tough decision. Half the time when you're on a counter-attack such as the one we were on at the end, you tend to hope that the player makes the right decision and plays it either man alongside him, or if the space in front of him opens up, accelerate into it and try and get a shot off. But for Rashford, he had a very difficult decision to make. He had no one on the. I don't think he had much option on the right hand side. I think
Nobody was on the right.
A bit too far back at that point. So so then it's just him and Cavani. He has a difficult decision to make, and Fabinho probably using that experience, which I value greatly in scenarios like this, where I really think defenders who've been in the game long enough and know how to deal with one-on-one scenarios like the ones that he was in, like at the very end. He made the right choice. Drag Cavani with you, follow Cavani, and Rashford could open up to beat the man in front of him and get the shot off, or playing Cavani. And it was a simple decision. It led to Rashford running into the corner. People will moan and cry saying he should have released it sooner. But, I mean, look, it doesn't take away from the fact that, he had a bad game today, Rashford. He didn't have a lot on offer that would worry Liverpool in the outset this afternoon. And it does now start to look like he is, as I've said many times, physically and mentally exhausted. So you're now asking the question, does he need time off? We do have to play Liverpool again, though, which is a problem. And the odds are it's increasingly likely, in fact, it may even just happen, that we will play the same team like we did this week, next week at Old Trafford. So the game in midweek against Fulham has now become almost as crucial for players getting a rest than it has been for players on a yellow card, because we talked about yellow cards yesterday, and strangely enough, none of the 4 players who are on 4 yellow cards got booked today. So, it's a strange predicament to find yourselves in. But, I look at our fixtures now. I feel like our attack has let us down today. They've got to be sharper. I expect Cavani to start against Fulham. I think Rashford just needs time off. You give Martial a night out, let him try and find his feet against a team lower in the league. And we can try and recover some of the lost ground, because in between Liverpool, Fulham and Sheffield United are both 2 sides at the bottom half of the table. These are matches because I want to look ahead now.
This is the easy part of our schedule.
This is the 6 points we need. Yeah, the 6 points we need to really put ourselves in a good position inside the top 4. And what comes afterwards is horrible, to be honest, because it's Arsenal away, Southampton and Everton at home before we go away to West Brom before Valentine's. So the 4 games after Sheffield United and Fulham are not easy, and in between we still have to play Liverpool again in the FA Cup. So take that into consideration. We may have to play another cup game as well. Our schedule just gets even more crowded.
There's a few things I wanted to pull out of what you're saying. And Rashford looking tired, but so does Bruno a bit. So and this is for anybody, I want to ask this out loud.
Yeah.
Should Bruno and Rashford, should they be dropped for Fulham and not dropped, but like rested? Should that be something we should, without a question, just go into that game resting them? Or do we need to make sure we win that game? And by resting them, it might be too much of a chance.
I think the Fulham game is more important than the cup game. I'm sorry, but I do. If it was me, I would save the strongest team for the Fulham game, keep the momentum going, and play the youth/B team against Liverpool at Old Trafford. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, Perry, please elaborate a bit more on that, because we're supposed to be challenging for trophies this season. We're apparently a team that, while in a good position in the league, we still haven't got silverware. We missed out on the opportunity to go to Wembley by losing to City in the semi-final again. And this is probably the hardest draw we're going to get in the cup until we play. I think we have West Ham or Doncaster should we get past Liverpool. Yeah. So we haven't we haven't got a hard scenario there.
I think the league is that tight that we can't afford to drop any points, and we have to take every game at a cup final. I know what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with it whatsoever. But me personally, I'm prioritising the league and getting that Champions League spot, and potentially gives us a better chance in the summer transfer window to bring in better signings.
I agree with that.
But that's only my point of view. I'm not saying that your point of view is wrong, but I just think the league and getting top 4 is priority. I know it shouldn't be over trophies, but it's what matters. If we don't get the top 4, we're not really going to attract any decent players in the summer, and we're back to scrapping around. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So that's I like the opinion. I was seeing if you're going to say because you think we have a better chance at winning the league than the FA Cup, but you didn't. So I'm happy, because I don't think we would have a better chance at winning the league than the FA Cup based on the fact that we just got Liverpool. Des is here. Let me add to the stream. So what's up, Des? What's up? So what I would say to that is, I wouldn't say we go to, on the return leg for the FA Cup, play kids. But I do believe we should be mixing up the lineup. I don't think the Fulham game should require I agree with you, Ahmed. We're a team that should be challenging on all fronts at this point. It shouldn't require a full team, but like a Martial, a Cavani, and a Greenwood front three with Donny van de Beek getting a start, that should be enough to beat Fulham, in my opinion. And that's kind of how I want to see us manage it. I'm not going to denounce the FA Cup, but I do think I've been saying we need to think big picture for a long time now. And big picture is top four, because so far in Ollie's rebuild, he won't be able to get the players he needs, or the player. I'm still withholding a little bit of hope. We are in a Champions League side, and not like a convincing one. And I mean, like, we can't be last day trying to get in Champions League. It's got to be we're comfortable. Jordan, I wanted to ask you your opinion on the rest, how you feel we should approach those next two fixtures, because it is important. A lot of fans have said it one way or another. Some people have said they want to see Palistri or even Ahmad Diallo thrown into the mix right away. What's your opinion on how we should approach these next two fixtures? Yeah.
I think we should play the best team against Fulham. I mean, Fulham they're not very high in the league, but they're no mugs. They've took points off Tottenham and Liverpool in the last 5 games. Of quite a hard team to beat after they had a rotten start to the season, but they're definitely a hard team to beat. Now, I think maybe the game in the cup could be for like Donny van de Beek, players like that could come in then. I think that we do have to prioritise the league, especially in the kind of spell we're in right now, where a point dropped could take you down 3 or 4 places in the league. I think we have to make sure we're beating the likes of Fulham, because Spurs have dropped points to Fulham, Liverpool have dropped points to Fulham, Chelsea only just bet them yesterday. So I think it's these games that we need to win, and then if we can build and start to win the big games, I mean that's quite disappointing, to be honest, this season. We've played Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Spurs and Arsenal, and we've drew 3 of them 0-0, lost 1 6-1 and lost 1 1-0. So actually, to be fair, it seems to have flipped on its head. Our form last season, it was like we can't beat Wolves, we can't beat Burnley, we're drawn at home to Aston Villa, and now and then we can go and we can beat Chelsea 4-0, and we can dominate all these sides. And now it seems to have switched around, where we can beat the smaller teams, but we can't get past the big sides. So for me, I would prioritise the Fulham game, make sure we win that and take 3 points, and then play a kind of bit part side in the cup, because I still think, even though it'd be a bit part side, I still think that the options we have on the bench, like Van de Beek, Greenwood, Cavani, this Traore, who hasn't played yet, he's just came in. This could be an opportunity for him to play against Liverpool in the cup. I think that actually it would. I mean, it's not going to be it would still be a strong side, even if we didn't play the 11 that has become so common.
So essentially, I feel like a lot of us are saying the league is the priority at this point. The trophy would be nice and all, and honestly, I think the Europa League is going to be where we should just kind of play our kids. I'm not going to say I get it. We're playing Real Sociedad, and we'll probably lose doing that, but I don't want to play on Thursdays. The way we're looking right now, I have no interest in playing on Thursdays, and I don't think the team should have any interest in that. It's like you did your little moonlighting in the Europa League. Cool. We had that time, and I'm kind of over it. Des, since you just got here a bit late, I wanted to hear kind of what are your feelings on the game? Were you a point gained or 2 points lost guy?
I think it's 2 points lost, because when I saw the lineup, I was kind of happy, because we're starting with 2 attackers and also 4 midfielders, including Paul Pogba. So it was very clear that Oli was going for it. Then when the game started, Henderson and Fabinho, 2 central midfielders in defense, it was pretty surprising that we sort of considered possession. We're playing, trying giving Liverpool much of the ball and allowing them to press us throughout the first half. And I was like, I don't think this is what Ole, set up the team, to come out to do. But then again, it was what happened. We considered possession almost throughout the game. I think it was around the 60th minute. That's when we got our first chance. The Paul Pogba shot that Alisson saved. So I think it's 2 points lost. We should have done more. I think Martial shouldn't have started. Looking at Edison Cavani's form, looking at how he's clinical, even with little chances. So I expected Cavani to start. I also thought Marcus Rashford on the right didn't really make a lot of sense because Trent Alexander-Arnold has been looking shaky this season. I mean, can remember the goal Ings scored against Liverpool at the Southampton stadium. It came from the TA position, so he has been looking shaky. And the best person to exploit TA's weakness is Marcus Rashford. And also we can take our minds back to United against Liverpool in the past. The 3 goals, I think the last 3 goals we scored against Liverpool have all come from Marcus Rashford, and they have all come from TA's mistakes. So it was clear that Rashford against TA would have made sense. So, but Ole, put him out on the right to accommodate Martial, who has been very terrible of late, and also to play Pogba. So for me, I feel it's 2 points lost. We should have done better. Yeah.
I don't disagree. It's like I disagree in the sense of we should have done. I don't disagree that we should have done better, but I just don't think it's 2 points drop because I can't get my head behind us looking at a draw at Anfield as a bad result. I at this current stage, it's too tough for me to. And I get it. Context is important.
Yeah, to be fair to Ole, it's actually a good result because in more than a calendar year now, we've not lost an away game, and so that's those kind of news. They are good to the ears, but I don't really think Ole would go out from that game satisfied.
No, he's not.
Liverpool were there for taking. They were there for taking. This is like the worst team they put against us since Klopp became manager, and we would never get an opportunity to play Liverpool side that are playing 2 central midfielders in defense ever again. So I just thought, well, VVD was not playing. I mean, Van Dijk was not in the team. Just like a gift, but we failed to grab it. That's just what I think.
Hey, remember Van Dijk was on the pitch when they got panned by Aston Villa. So everything is like I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to let him off the hook.
That was a one-off, same as the Spurs Manchester United game 6-1 was a one-off. So I
agree.
Don't really take.
But you
come
never
on,
know,
guys!
right?
Come on, look. Let's be real. Klopp probably one of the best managers in the world. Liverpool probably one of the best teams in Europe at the minute, and we went there and held our own today. I know we didn't win, but we went there. We brought something back with us. Like I feel like I'm the only one here who's happy with I'm not.
Oh,
happy.
I'm
not
happy.
happy. But I think
said
it's
that.
not a bad result. Like we went there and held our own. Like
Perry,
we had the best chances.
I would ask you something, Perry. If this was, let's say, years ago, we went to Anfield, because I can remember 2 times we've gone to Anfield and we have come back home with 0-0 draws. You would not be this happy. Definitely you won't. Because we consider Liverpool had played us and had gone us for much of 90 minutes. They were playing without. Henderson was not playing in midfield. It was Thiago and Shaqiri. Shaqiri had not played a home game for Liverpool in over a year. Looking at that lineup, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Matic, Fred, Marcus Rashford, Martial. It was very glaring that Ole was going for to win that game. To be honest, I'm disappointed.
My question is, do you think we're more disappointed now because we actually need the points? Whereas before, in recent years, because we haven't needed the points, we're never really as bothered. We're like, oh, well, it's a draw at Anfield and we're still top of the league and going to get another title. But we need it more now.
What you are saying now is because we are, top of the table and we've gotten a draw. It's different from, when you are trailing by the leaders by like 10 points and you get a draw. It's the same thing. A draw is a draw. A win is a win. To be honest, though, well.
Okay, hang on.
But hold on. So, but the way I look at it is like, okay, I see the what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's like so many people were so upset at the City draw. And then look what happened. It turned out to be a great result. If in 3 months from now, we let's say we go on, we beat Fulham. We Indiana's definitely not happy. We go on, we beat Fulham, we beat Sheffield United. Maybe City drops a point here or there. and we stay where we need to be. The problem we always had in the past is I found it when we couldn't beat the smaller sides, it was a bigger problem. And I get what Perry's saying. It's that in the past, going to Liverpool, just getting the draw was good enough because we didn't need the points. And that's not what it's about now. It's like now we need the point. We need the point in the draw to stay top of the table and to keep the pressure on teams below us.
To be fair, I think the disappointment comes from the fact that we went there. We done well. People talk about the poor performance in the first half. I thought actually the game plan and the whole game was executed to perfection. I thought when you go to Anfield, when you play Liverpool anyway, but particularly at Anfield, if you can get to the half an hour mark at 0-0, you're looking good. And if you can get to the hour mark still at 0-0, you're looking good. So I thought that went well. The big moment of the match tonight was the fact that we created 2 top class chances and we didn't bury them. That's why I'm disappointed. I think in the context of a 38 match season, if you'd said to me in October when the season started, right, this season you're going to get a point at the Etihad, you're going to get a point at Anfield, I would have said that's great, I'll take that. But actually, in the context of the game, the fact that we've missed those chances, it's a sickener for me that we haven't come away with the 3 points. I'm not necessarily that disappointed in the result in the grand scheme of things, but the fact that we done well throughout the whole match, kept them at bay. They've got the best front 3 in the world allegedly, and we didn't concede a goal. I think David De Gea made 1 save, and it was from the edge of the box, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. So that is the good. But the fact of the matter is, we created the chances and we didn't bury them, and that is the next level that we need to go up if we're going to win. If we're going to be challenging for the league and challenging for trophies, we need to finish our chances when they matter the most.
I don't know. I want to debunk this title challenge thing, not like because we can't challenge for it. I don't think we're good enough against some of the top 6 sides to really get results that we need to be able to say we can challenge for the title. Why do I think we're a step away from it right now? Because we're not clinical enough in games like today, because we weren't able earlier in the season, as Jordan brought up in numerous results this season, that we've had games where we've had chances, we don't take them. And then when we look back on it later after we've dropped points or we've gained 3, but then we are still a gap or so away from where we should be. I don't think we have the ruthlessness. That's the word which I would associate with title winners. The ruthlessness and the determination to think we must get a result under any circumstances, no matter who we play against. And we are still missing, as Indiana says just in the bottom there, if Cam could show it, we are still missing a couple, I think, to be able to say we are a ruthless team. This team, for me, is still a top 4 side. It's why I've tempered my expectations to Champions League football. And if we are to get bonuses, I would have wished for a trophy or 2 and then build on that even more. Ollie's getting the team right. We asked the first, yes, but we're not there. Like as I said before, by a clear margin, we are still holding on to what is technically a very thin and narrow gap to teams who are capable of, like us, getting a run of wins together and winning 5 or 6 games in a row and suddenly overtaking United. So while I think we would, it's all good and you need to enjoy the fact we are first and we have something to hang on to, we must still think that this team is capable. On good days, they'll be great and they'll be top class. On bad days, though, they will be a wholly different team and they will probably disappoint us more than you think. Because one day they'll live in the highs of scoring 5 or 6, and then the next they'll lose 1 or 2-0 to a lower ranked side in the league or in the FA Cup, or even get knocked out by away goals in the Europa League. Whatever happens, I think we should focus, and I've said it, will say again, the focus should remain on trying to solidify our status as a top 4 team first. And then once we've done that, if the scenario, like it is now, is still a tight one and teams are struggling to pick up points and we are somewhat close to first, then we'll see where we are. We are traditionally, so Alex Ferguson made it famous, we are a March to April side. We always do our business at the end of the season when we get that run together and when we're top and we run away from the opposition. If we're close, we keep the pressure on. we can't say that we're putting teams under pressure right now just because we're first. We've got to think about getting through these tough matches, get results, be positive about these results. It's sad, yes, that we didn't win today. I know Ollie's angry about that, and I agree with him. But we must focus on the end goal. The end goal is to draw attention to the fact we are a team that can challenge in the future for titles. This season, for me, is one season too early. So focus on getting a trophy and getting the top 4.
I absolutely agree. You couldn't have said it any better. I think the priority this year is getting top 4, Champions League. We get a couple more players in the summer. This year, I don't know what everyone else thought, but I think pretty much the most of the fan base expectations were we never thought we was really going to win the league. We just said we got to close that gap on City and Liverpool. And if someone said, look, January,
to be fair,
where we are, what would you think?
To be fair, though, I think that that this season, more than ever, the title is there for the taking. So I think that you are saying we're a few players away from winning the league, but Liverpool don't have a centre-half. Man City, to be fair, they seem to be getting it going now, but they have not exactly been the Man City we became accustomed to over the period of a few years where they broke the point record and all that. So I don't necessarily think that there is any team in the league this season that's got the complete squad to go and walk the league. So I think that this season I wouldn't write us off that we're going to win the league this season, because I think that it's definitely achievable based on the teams round about us.
No, I hear that, but I do agree fully with Amit, because coming into the year, I predicted us 4th. I'm not going to lie. I'm on camera saying that. But I don't want us to be a team where it's like, oh, we need to win the league this year because this is the year it's there for the taking. We do need those few players that we're away to be where it's like every year is a year for us for it to be a year for the taking. Like no matter what Liverpool looks like, no matter what City looks like, because City and Liverpool are going to improve. So the way I look at this season is we're well ahead of where we should have been, in my opinion. Like we have shown that now we're in really, we can't say we're not in the race because we are mathematically. You just can't say we're not in the race because we win our next 2 games and one person drops and we're well ahead. So we're in the race, but we never were supposed to be. So it's like, I'm looking at it big picture, what Ollie's been trying to build. You get in the next window, 1 or 2 players, whether that be the center back or the DM or the right winger that we need all 3 of those players. If we get those positions in, then the expectations change. And they should be, though. That's when the expectations should be where a lot of fans have them right now, to be honest. A lot of fans are looking at it being like, well, because the league's where it's at. If Ollie had got a Grealish in, let's say, because that was, we knew it was his target. It was clear. It was reported. It was loud and clear. Grealish was the target. Sancho was the target. If those players had came in, then a result like what we've seen today would have been an extreme disappointment, in my opinion. Not taking our opportunities against the cities, that's when it would be disappointing. The fact that we are now hanging with these teams when in the past we would have been obliterated, like if we're going to be honest, we would have looked bad doing it. That's another thing. A lot of fans are, and you're right, I agree with you, Jordan. The reason why you're disappointed is because of the context, because we could have won the game. That's what hurts. The fact that we had those chances. If we didn't have those chances, you'd be like, okay, we held on. We got the point that we didn't deserve. It's this weird place that the fan base is in right now where they're like, I don't know if I should fully jump yet and be like, yes, because we know we're not good enough. I don't think anybody on this channel right now thinks that we actually are good enough to say we're better than City and Liverpool. We're just talking about the fact that they're in the downturn. I actually think we're getting close. I think we're that close to being as good as these teams, but they're also that close to being a lot better than us. So it's this weird place, weird limbo. I know it sounds weird, but it's like a weird limbo of you want to chair and say we can win it all, but then you take a look at the squad and you think about we don't have those players we need to actually take us over the line.
It's a thin line.
No, go on, Alan. Sorry.
It's a very, very thin line right now for us to be treading on at this point of the season to assume we would be league title contenders. I don't think this season is the right season. I've said it already. And I don't want people to suddenly think because we're first, we should stay there. That's too many sides. I still believe Manchester City, with the run they're on and the teams they have to play against in the next few weeks, will have a very, very good chance of not only overtaking United, but will want to consolidate the opportunity that is in front of them. They are looking to do the impossible like we did back in '99. For them, it's not the same team. Yes, it's not the Centurions. It's not the team that ripped everyone apart in the league completely. But the only scenario I see us being contenders for this season is it's a trophy. That for me, and getting a top 4 spot. Trophy and a top 4 spot. Because there's no ruthlessness in the side. Ruthless teams win trophies. We've not won one under Ollie. And I want a ruthless side to win a trophy. A Premier League title is, I think, still, it's within reach, but it's not there yet. We can't just say we have a hand on the trophy on January the 17th. We can't say that. You've got to consider your options one game at a time. I want us to focus on trophies, get us in top 4.
Yeah, but I do know what you're saying, but I don't think trophies are everything. I'm not. But prime example is just look at Arsenal. They won the FA Cup, but in the grand scheme of things, what did it actually mean? Because
constant Europa League football, that was it.
So I don't think, I know, to me, Premier League and Champions League are the trophies we should be competing for. All the others are a bonus, and I don't think we're at the level yet to compete for Premier Leagues and Champions League. And this is why I think priority is top 4, so we can add some more quality into it. Because look at look at this transfer window, the amount of difference this has made to our squad. If we can have another couple good players come in, it's just going to boost us up to that another level, which I think would get us competing.
So I want to just ask a few questions then, because Noah, I don't think that's our Noah, made a good point there. And before we end the stream, I want to ask a few questions regarding kind of what we do believe, because we've gone in the circle about knowing like we're not quite good enough to be a Premier League title team. But we should be aiming for trophies. What do you guys believe? Who do you believe we need to bring in? What do you think needs to change? I personally am like, Ollie for me is the manager for now, and until his contract's up, that's the manager. He's done nothing to warrant being let go. And I know a lot of the fan base believes that if we just got a different manager, we'd be a way better side. I disagree with that. What do you guys think we need to do to get over the line? Who are some of those players? Obviously, a Sancho would be fantastic, but forget maybe those youngins are who we brought in as our right wingers. Who's the player that you think would put us over the edge? Brought in this summer, maybe 2 players. I would say. Des, who would you say maybe you bring in, and then Perry?
I think. Sorry, go on, Des. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. I would say if we can get in a defensive midfielder, I think we should let Nemanja Matic leave this summer. I mean, he's 31 now. You know, his legs are not as he used to be before. And I think the more he stays, the more he's taking space for, wages that are supposed to go into, a player that still has his future ahead of him. So I think Wilfred Ndidi would be a perfect replacement for Nemanja Matic. I mean, so many people don't really talk about him, but to be fair, apart from N'Golo Kante, Declan Rice, Wilfred Ndidi is up there, among the best defensive midfielders in the league. So it would make sense. I mean, 60, 70 million, it would make sense, but, he's a Nigerian, and we've seen how the only Nigerian that has come to United, we've seen how badly he has performed, in Odion Igalo. So, also, I think we need another right back. I think we've seen how a proper signing can, help a player. I'm talking of Alex Telles or Luke Shaw. We've seen how Luke Shaw has improved tremendously. I mean, today there was a time in the game against Liverpool where Luke Shaw was under pressure from Mohamed Salah, and the calmness that he got there to, to maintain his calmness and avoid danger. I was very surprised, because the Luke Shaw of old then probably would have miscontrolled the ball and Mohamed Salah scored. So I think Alex Telles has tremendously improved Luke Shaw, and I think a proper right back signing can do that as well to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. we berate him a lot about his attacking returns and all that. So I feel another right back signing, will do him a lot of good. I would have said we need a centre back, but I hope Eric Bailly, injury woes are behind him, because we've seen he has come of age now and he's doing really well. I was surprised he did start today, because the last few games that we've won that has taken us to the first top of the table had Eric Bailly and Eric and Maguire pairing. So I was really surprised Eric Bailly didn't start today, even though Lindelof did very well. But I think Eric Bailly and Maguire's partnership is the way to go, because I think Bailly improves him very much. So
Yeah.
it's MF and the right back for me. Yeah.
I think the reason we're not seeing Bailly, and I think the reason, sorry, I got to mute you guys, some noise coming in the background. I think the reason we're not seeing Bailly week in, week out is because Ollie's realized he does need him, and he just can't afford to have him out for multiple games at a time. And Lindelof has the back issue too now, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very back and forth rotation with the two of them for the rest of the season, because we've seen what happens when we mix it up a bit too much. I remember the one time we were all crying for Bailly to come in, and he had a shocker. And it's like, to give credit where credit's due, Lindelof had a great game. Per, who do you think would help change the fortunes? Maybe put us over the edge.
I think we can all agree what we need, whoever we get that. I think we can all agree that Wan-Bissaka needs competition at right back. I'd like to go for Max Aarons myself. I think we can all agree that we need a centre-back. That one I don't even want to get into. CDM, I think we could all argue we need someone to just take that CDM role and have one person instead of having to utilise a pair, a right wing. This is my ideal three. I'd go Max Aarons. I'd go Grealish on the left. I'd stick Grealish on the left wing. I'd move Rashford to the right, and I'd get a centre-back. That would be me. But I do like Sancho as well. I don't know what you guys think, but I think Grealish would flourish in this team. I really do.
Jordan?
I think we definitely need a right winger. I mean, we've got very little balance down the right side of the park. It's becoming a bit it's just we're quite one-dimensional these days. I think an attack, it's down the left. I think we need a striker. We need a striker that'll just ruthless, will bury every single chance he gets given to him. For it, like Martial, I think's all right, but I just keep replaying the miss against PSG in my head over and over and over. We need someone who will burst the net with those kind of chances. We don't need somebody who might score, might not, might chase the ball, might chase after loose balls, might not, depending on how he's feeling that day. We need someone reliable up front. To be fair, there's been quite a lot of slander on Wan-Bissaka this season, but I thought he was good tonight. I thought he was quite good at beating men, and it was actually him that set up Pogba's chance that he didn't score. But for me, it would be a right winger and a striker. I think the defensive midfielder thing, I think if in an ideal world we'd bring in a defensive midfielder, but I actually think that McTominay I think for me he's came on leaps and bounds this season in particular. I think he probably could play that role in the future. He's maybe not ready to play there himself right now, but probably I think he could play there. And then the right back thing, I do think we've got one competent right back at the club, so I think that we do need either Max Aarons or is it Lamptey, the boy from Brighton? I think he's very good as well. He was really good against us earlier on in the season, so I would potentially look at him as well.
Yeah, mine would be Ruben Neves, plain and simple. Bring him in, have him sit. I just think he's top class for me, and with Wolves, it's going to be time for him to move on. I actually think the right back competition should come from within, and I think we should just bring back Dalot, because he's playing well at Milan, and we don't necessarily need a right back. We need somebody who could be a right wing back when we talk about it, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka, when he's asked to just defend and do that role, and other than the balls like over his head, the diagonals, he does that role phenomenally, and he does have moments of setting up some creation. But what we really need is somebody who you can feel confident with on the ball. And I'd love to just see Dalot come back, and that way you don't have to spend that money, and then you go and get the right winger that we've been crying out for. Like I think that, and whether we get the right winger, sorry, I also am with you, Perry, on the Grealish thing, but I only bring in Grealish if Pogba leaves. Because otherwise there's just not enough space in that midfield for all of those players. Or if Martial leaves and you decide to play Grealish exclusively on the left-hand side. That would be the only way I'd bring in Grealish at this stage. But somebody's probably going to leave in the summer. I don't know who it's going to be. I think those players would probably help us get over the line, in my opinion. And then, Ahmed, I'll let you finish it off. And
my guy. Oh, well, I agree with you. Right-back competition is essential because the Wan-Bissaka is really on his own. Trouble is, I don't want to buy one. I think I'm a huge fan of Diogo Dalot. I met him in person, in fact. He was a lovely guy. He's a sound bloke. He's definitely understands what it takes to play for the club. It's the struggle of obviously having played under Mourinho in a very mediocre team in his first few months as a United player, that he didn't get the chance to flourish at the club. And we thought that he would solve our right back problems for 10 or 11 years, but clearly he didn't. Wan-Bissaka's usurped him in the team and shown that he can do it, and it did up Dalot's competition a bit. When he got opportunities, he took them. Tranmere last year for me was a brilliant example of what he can do if given a chance in the team. And I'm sad that he left to go to Milan, and it looks like Milan wants him back. I want him, though, to come to United, return, try and, let's say, he's challenging for the league over there. He's in a possible league-winning side with Milan. I think he can take that mentality he's picked up over in Italy, bring it back to England and push Wan-Bissaka and maybe take his spot in the first team because the man delivers a ball. He's a very good dribbler. He can definitely do things on an attacking front that Wan-Bissaka can't do. And because he's in Italy, he's learning the art of defending from probably two of the best of all time in Baresi and Maldini in the back. So he's got a lot of experience from playing in a tough league and playing for a big club. It's a big responsibility over there. And, good on him. I want him, though, to bring that form back if he can. If not, then I think the general consensus is Max Aarons. The defensive problem, I think we need to shift a couple before we can bring a centre-back in. I don't think we can buy one with Rojo, Jones, and Rojo and Jones at the club because we now have, I think, 5 centre-backs. Smalling was 6. Smalling moved on, thankfully, but he would have served a purpose in the current team. We need to remove those 2 on. Big salaries, big wages. They don't play. Looks like Rojo's going, so we're now praying on Phil Jones to not survive another window. Don't wish ill harm or anything like that to him. He has been a good servant. Yeah, he just needs to move on so he can get playing time now because you can't sit at United earning a wage. It just takes up space, basically. Defensively, well, we have improved, but I don't know if Upamecano is going to fix our problems. Simply because since we lost to Leipzig in the Champions League, I've watched exclusively a lot of the games he's participated in, and his compatriots Konate and Mukiele have played considerably better than he has since the pressure of being the focal point of a defense has come upon him. I'd rather go for Konate than him, but it's the lesser of two evils, and people will say Upamecano is a better defender and a more mature defender. We should go for him. For me, with the centre-back issue, I love Bailly far too much to see someone take his place. If he gets bubble wrapped a lot more, he can take Lindelof away from the first team spot. Lindelof did well today. Good for him. I'm happy he did. He's proving a point to the manager that I can still perform for you despite all the mistakes I've made, but he is error-prone. He will have days where he's not at his best, and it's shown in the last few years. I still can't stand a day against Sevilla. He didn't deal with that cross with Maguire, so it still lives in there like a thorn in my side, that moment where he doesn't deal with the ball into the box. So for me, I think to get competition in, Bailly should be in that team. Mm-hmm. If we are to buy someone, Konate, Upamecano, Pau Torres. There's a few young players like the Facundo Medina geezer who we're hearing of from France. He's got potential there. There's a fair few options around at centre-back. Defensive midfield, Zakaria or who else? Wilfred Ndidi is too expensive. I don't think Leicester are going to let him go again because what happened with Maguire will still be taken into account for United. I understand fans understand his role in the Leicester team is to protect the back four and clean up the mistakes that the midfielders in the attack make. But he is still someone I think is far too expensive and has Premier League pedigree. So that will force Leicester to say you're going to have to pay more than you did for Maguire to get him. Zakaria is a much cheaper option. Plus, he's a more defensively focused option. If Pogba doesn't leave, Zakaria is the best thing that can happen for him because that just frees him to play however he likes, wherever he likes. And then him and Bruno could coexist in the same side. Gives more competition to McTominay, Fred, and possibly Van der Beek. It can lead us to play 3 or 4 different systems if we bring him in. Another defensive midfielder I'd like to see is who I think can do a job at the level. He's a bit more experienced than Zakaria, and indeed his name escapes me, but I think he was in Spain. I think it was Rakitic, who's got from Valencia. He's still young, but I think he needs more proving time. But there's potential there with him. So we're targeted with a lot on this. Being United, you get targeted with a lot of players in midfield. They are just a few who I think could kick on or do a role in the team if we have the choice to. The attack is quite complimentary, really. But I don't know if Jadon Sancho will come to United and keep that form up he had from last season. This season with Dortmund, he's not the same player. He's struggling to find that form. Okay, last week, Leipzig away, he played well. Goal, assist, got Haaland on the score sheet as well with that. It was a lovely move. I do not think, though, he's going to have it all his own way this season. He tried to push for a move. It's playing on his mind. His form has dipped dramatically since it fell through. If United push for him again, Dortmund will probably still stand firm and say that it's this or this. Or because of the financial hit they've taken, they will want to see this as an opportunity to make money and just develop the young Reina guy, from young Reina or Torgan Hazard gets more game time. These sorts of young talents that can come through. And then these are opportunities for young talent. Finally, Grealish is a shout for me, but I want to give Amad Diallo a chance. I want him and Pelistri to show us what they can do when they have the chance in the first team before I make a judgment call on whether we should make another winger, bring another winger in, because Diallo has bags of potential at 19 and is probably one of the best youth prospects here in the continent. I think we should give him a chance before we consider all our options.
City are leading 3-0. Stones scored the brace,
Who scored John Stones scored a brace.
Stones scored the brace.
Well, on that note, that hurts my.
Can I ask? I want to hear all your guys' opinions. Give me 2 players who are this season who are kind of gone under the radar a bit and who you're impressed with. Like, keep it quick. Mine, I'd say Maguire and De Gea. I want to hear what you guys think. Give me 2 players.
Very easy for me.
Off the radar, don't just go, it's Bruno, but 2 players who are kind of a bit low-key and doing their job well.
Luke Shaw.
Very easy. That one.
Luke Shaw for me.
He's the man of the match.
I agree there, Luke Shaw.
He's done great, and obviously David De Gea. I'm happy he had his renaissance season where people can now stop talking about Henderson taking a spot because it's just not. That's not a thing right now. Those would be my 2.
Okay. I agree. Luke Shaw has come on leaps and bounds since Alex Telles came to the club. He's put him under pressure. It shows that's what Wan-Bissaka will need to probably get better in his career. So competition in that position. So I hope Ollie notices that. But yeah, Luke Shaw he's been fantastic the last few games, and I think now we're starting to see not the complete package with him, but we're starting to see what he could become if he avoids injury and is consistent like this game in, game out. The other player for me, despite at times he can be a little bit lackluster and can worry me when he has the ball. He in stages this season, Fred for me under the radar did very well. He did. PSG will be a flashpoint. He didn't have a good game there, but in some matches he did very well this season, and I think he still has a role to play for United in the coming games. McTominay is also someone I'd say who's stepped up, not just got on the radar, but he's stepping up now as a senior player in the first team because he sees the pressure wearing the shirt and will want to develop that into something bigger and better in his career. Because we're looking at someone who could not just be a good midfielder, but he's demonstrating the art of being a centre back, playing for Scotland, and also being able to deal with the pressure of holding the big players like the Mbappes, the Neymars, will go back in games. So he's doing the job.
Ahmed,
So those three are.
You don't have to simp for McTominay just because Jordan's in there.
Listen,
No,
it's
it's not because
top class
the
centre back, by the way,
Scotsman.
for Scotland. Top class.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not simping for him because he's Scottish. I
All I'm gonna
love
say
the
is,
geezer. He's a passionate player.
English people, just watch out. By the way, watch out. 18th of June, yous are getting it at Wembley.
Oh God, please! I don't need this now. We've got a long way to
I'm
go
staying out
until
of this
then.
one.
Please.
All right, cool. Well, with that,
Good
I'm
result, guys. Surely.
going to end the stream here and just say, guys, we're still top of the league. Plain and
Yes.
simple. If you're new to the channel,
Something
like,
to be-
subscribe,
something to be happy about.
share. We're top of the league. We're going to continue to be top of the league because I think we're going to smash Fulham. That's just my
Yeah, let's keep this positivity going. Like, we're top of the league. We're still 2 points clear. It's not a great result today, but we've done well. Like, it's not an easy place to go. Let's keep it going.
Exactly.
If you go online, all you see now is Fernandes slander, and it's ridiculous. Let's get behind the team and the manager, and let's keep on hitting it. Let's keep going.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, no many teams are going to come away from Anfield with a point this season. So I think we need to take the positives in that we have went to probably the hardest ground to go to in England, and we've took a point away and probably should have took 3, but that's not how it played out. But I'm quite happy. A point will do, to be fair, in the grand scheme of things. A point will do.
There you go.
We've got a long way to go, boys and girls. So
Right.
I think we'll
Take care.
get in for the long haul, and I hope we can get there. Yeah, take care, guys. See you soon.